Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So what I thought I would do today is take a rare dive into my inboxes everywhere, Instagram, and just answer some makeup questions that get sent to me. Now listen, don't go messaging me because I don't actually ever check my messages. If you want to ask me a makeup question, you can leave it in the comments here below, comment it on a picture on Instagram, do the Q&A on TikTok. I don't answer makeup questions personally in my inbox. I just don't open the message. So this is just a rare occasion I'm going to do this. I'm probably only going to do this once. So again, don't message me like just for a future video. No, I will delete the message. It'll be gone. I will not see it. It won't happen. Okay. Just before we get into this video today, if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Robert. I'm a professional makeup artist here on YouTube and also in real life, and it's my goal to help you become a pro yourself or just someone who's really good at makeup. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then please consider subscribing. Should we just do it? Let's go. Let's see what's happening. Going into your inbox can be a scary thing. So the first message in the inbox, and I'm not including usernames, anything like that. Hey, I heard putting lip balm under your eyes is good for hydration and locking in concealer. What do you think? I think absolutely not. First of all, lip balms and things. So there's a difference between hydrating and like moisturizing and then just creating a layer of moisture. Okay. Lip balm is in no way a primer. Vaseline is in no way a primer. You don't want something that's a layer that can just slip, if that makes sense. It's definitely not a good idea. You do want to hydrate under the eyes, but a lip balm isn't going to hydrate under the eyes. You want to use something more like an oil, a priming oil. I find really, really useful. The tiniest, smallest amount, or an eye cream just under the eye. Hydration is the key to longer lasting concealer. Lip balm isn't going to hydrate under the eye, and it's going to be really slippy, and oh my god, that stuff is going to crease. So I wouldn't do that if I was you. So this message says, hello, I'm your huge fan and follow your tips a lot, especially on Facebook. Thank you so much. Can you please review this technique and look? Your review would be really helpful to understand whether we should follow such application method or not. Let's take a look at the video. So the final look is stunning. Here's just one thing that I want I would ask the artist personally is, what's the benefit of the first stage of adding that contour on, adding that highlight here, color correcting, if you're then going to go on with a layer of foundation, a layer of airbrush foundation, and then go over the contour and blush and highlight with contour, blush and highlight anyway. It doesn't add to the depth because you can do that on top of a product. What could have been done here is an airbrush foundation, which would look incredible and cover that color correction. That didn't really need so much color correcting anyway. The green didn't really need to be there. Concealer and foundation would have covered that. And then add in the contour, which we went on top of a contour again. So that layer wasn't necessary. So we're adding these layers and layers and layers of makeup when you don't really need to add them because you're going to add them on later anyway. I find that completely unnecessary. You can see a lot of textures happening as well with the more layers, and it's, in my opinion, that is too much. Especially for like a wedding day or something like that. Sweat, oil, everything on a wedding day is going to break down that makeup terribly. It isn't a technique I would personally use. It's a lot of unnecessary product. It's like, you know what it's like to me, that building up of product. It's like having a plain wall and then painting it with black stripes and then painting it all white and then going back over with a black to recreate those black stripes. It's like Why are you pre-doing it and then covering it up and then adding it back on? It doesn't make sense, in my opinion. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so somebody messaged us and said, what do you think? Let's have a look. I think we've seen this hack before in one of my videos, and what I find, what I always say about this, right? It looks great, by the way, to get, and it's a good idea to get that tiny little amount, that tiny little point on the inside corner, because when you're pinching here, you are kind of stretching out that area of your eye, and this inside corner is quite difficult to kind of manipulate in terms of makeup. That's why even like lashes, when I'm putting lashes on someone, I ask them to look down, say I'm doing this eye, and look that way, because it stretches out that inside corner. Even when you're doing it on yourself and you're trying to get that inside corner, you should look down that way and then put it in. Here's the deal though, if you're going to make those any longer, bear in mind that when this area is pinched, that's not how it's going to stay. When you take that clip and grip off, it will fall slightly, so that won't be the shape that you end up with. So do just be careful there. But to do like a little tiny thing like that, it's cute. I like it. Sunset, is this you? No. So I got loads of messages about Judy D's video with the glue on the eyelid, and somebody said, this is just one of them, hello Robert, since sometimes you react to Judy D's videos, can you tell me what you think about putting glue on your eyelids and about this MUA's behaviour? Thank you, I really enjoy watching your videos. Thank you so much. Listen, I watched this video, of course. Me and my fiance, we both watched Judy D's videos. The glue that was on the lid, I'm not sure what happened. I'm going to be honest with you. It was like she was painting on this glue. It is fine. It's okay to use lash glue or glitter, like cosmetic glitter glue on the eyelid in a tiny amount. I would take like a brush. I usually have in my kit anyway, a brush that I don't mind getting glue on, and it's like my glue brush. Or like one of those like a plastic applicator, or even finger, tiniest amount, and pat on the area you want it, a tiny bit. And I very rarely do this. And you can tap glitter on top, because I don't use glitter, I don't like glitter. Or NYX make a glitter glue. You know, there are brands that actually make it. I don't know what that glue was. Lash glue is an extreme thing to use anyway, so you don't have to use it. Now that brands actually make products for you to use with glitter, I don't know what that was, but glue is fine on the lids if it's the correct thing. We're not talking like glue you use in school, you know. So another message. Hi, so I just saw a story from, it's a creator, so maybe I won't put on, and would like to hear your professional opinion on it. I know what you usually say about mascaras and eyebrows, so I was wondering, would the clear one be any good? Clear mascaras are fine on eyebrows. The reason I don't like mascara on eyebrows, like actual black or brown mascara, is because of the way it dries down, it mattifies, and it's you don't get very many shade ranges and options for mascara. So even if your eyebrows are as dark as a black mascara, or it's the perfect brown and you found the perfect brown mascara, it dries to this weird matte finish, which is a different matte to like an eyebrow powder, or it's really hard it's a powdery matte. I know it sounds really strange, but it just looks unreal. Whereas I wonder if my mascara will go on top of this. So what I have in my brow now, this is matte. If I take mascara through my eyebrow, do you see what I mean? I wonder if it's showing up properly on camera. It just has the strangest finish. See, I don't know. I just find you lose all texture, and it just has this really weird finish to it. A clear gel, absolutely fine, because it dries clear. There's no like color to it. But I just find it, I wonder if I can lean in and you can see, like compared to just like a normal brow, even the darkest eyebrows have depth and different, you know, colors tone to it. And then this, I don't like this. personal opinion on the darkness, because some people like their brows really dark, but it's the finish for me. That's why I don't like mascara in the eyebrows. This is a nice simple one. How do you match blush to your skin tone? By the way, love your YouTube channel. Thank you so much. So this is how I personally like to do it, and to be honest, you can wear whatever blush you want, of course you can, but if you want it to be in sync with your skin tone, I always think about taking your skin undertone and adding it to a colour. So for example, I'm neutral, but I'm more yellow. So say for example, I want a pink blush. Adding yellow to pink, you get that kind of more peachy tone. I would then go for a peachier pink. Say I want red blush, I would add yellow to red, and you get that more yellow red or orangey red rather than that deep bluer red. Now I find the bluer undertones look great on a red undertone or a neutral undertone. It works differently for different people. It's a difficult one. As long as you don't, I always find pastel is a difficult one to go for. As long as you don't go too light on your skin and it looks too pastel, I find it looks complementary. But almost practice, right? Look at a blush and just think, can I see my skin's undertone in that blush? And then you know it's going to be a little bit more complementary to your skin tone. Which is kind of difficult when you match up eyeshadow, because you go opposite. You do complementary on a colour wheel and it's the opposite shade, but you don't really want like green blush, you know? Well, you could do. So this says, hello, is this the best technique for bigger eyes? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a good technique. I would be a little bit more careful with application. So the bit that she does under the eye here is actually, again, a method that is used a lot in South Korea. Let me find a brush. You see it a lot on Korean actors and idols and things like that. And it's basically when you take, why can't I find a brush? A smaller brush, and you're basically puffing up this area of skin under the eye, because it gives the impression that the eyeball is right in that bit. So you deepen under here, but I would be very careful. I wouldn't use a fluffy brush at all. I would use a very small brush, and you're almost hollowing out underneath that eyeball and then gently blending it out. The lift like that, when you lift, you potentially pull the eye and almost cat eye your eye. So you're making it longer, not so much bigger. If I was going to make an eye look bigger, I would round it off rather than pull it out, and I'll round it off above the socket of the eye, like in that video, that crease there. And also applying like a lighter shade from the middle of the lid all the way up to the brow, like a shimmer, also gives that elongation of the eye. So when you're rounding it, you can round it up, you can elongate it this way, but I wouldn't necessarily cat eye or pull outwards in any way, just because that kind of slims down the eye. So if you're trying to make your eyes look bigger, it's probably not the best technique to go for. Well, that was a quick, short one for you today. I'm kind of too nervous to look through my messages anymore. I know that sounds weird, but after a while it can get a bit strange. So thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, please don't message me any makeup questions. That was a one-off. I don't look at them because I'm scared to look at them. So yeah. If you have TikTok, you can like ask me a question, do it in a video. I'll duet it or whatever it's called, or stitch it, whatever it's called. I have a Q&A on there. That's probably the best way to do it. Or if you comment on a YouTube video, just leave a suggestion of what you'd like to see in a video. That always helps as well. Thanks again. I will see you very, very soon. Bye.